Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, February 4th, here with a special CEO interview. It's Joel. Joel, good morning. How do you say your last name?
It's Fruendt, just like fluent.
Good thing I asked you because I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah,
All right,
been called a
Joel
lot.
Fruendt, just like fluent. I'm going to write that down. So we got Joel here from SenesTech, ticker symbol SNES. SenesTech's a company I'm familiar with, actually, back a few years ago. I traded this a little bit. There was a lot of excitement back then about their pest control, their rat control, fertility control. There were people thinking, oh my gosh, what if they get like a New York City subway contract? This thing's going to explode. So I do remember the stock, Joel, back in the day. Why don't we start with your involvement with the company? I'm not sure when you started, when you became CEO. Give us a little history of your relationship with the company and through today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. And I've been the CEO now for just under 2.5 years. And so I came over at the end of 22. And my background prior to that is I had 16 years of experience in the vector management and pest control area. And that mainly had to do with mosquito control products and services. So really familiar with the mosquito control products, and that lent itself right to moving into the rodent control products.
Okay. So that was 3 years ago. And what was the condition of the company when you joined 3 years ago? What were, some challenges, or what were your goals, and how has that developed over the last 3 years?
Well, there was a product called ContraPest, which was a fertility control product for rats, and but it was a liquid product. It had some limitations as to where it could be used, simply because it didn't have the greatest shelf life, and it was a little bit harder to deploy out in the field compared to a solid product. And along with that, it was a little bit more expensive than the competitive products out there. So great product, had some good growth there. When I started looking at it, when I came over, I said, well, in order to really accelerate the growth, we're going to need to have a product that is a solid product, that has great shelf life, that's easy to deploy out in the field, and that is at a price point that is competitive with the other rodenticide type products out there. So while we kept working on ContraPest, and we have some loyal users of the product, immediately got working on it with our product development team. Is like, okay, how can we develop a solid product that would be the entry into many of the markets that we couldn't get into? Distribution, retail, international. Those are 3 of the major ones that we just couldn't get into with the ContraPest product. So we started working on that, and in January of 24, we launched a product, Evolve, which does all of those things and is a minimum risk product as designated by the EPA. So we jumped into the marketplace with that, and that has.
All right, what was the date on that, Evolve?
We launched in January of 24, so it's been on the market just over 1 year now.
Got it. Okay.
And then in May of 24, we launched the Evolve Mouse product. So we have 2 different formulations, one for rats, one for mice.
Oh, cool. And that's also called Evolve?
It's called Evolve Mouse, yes.
And that works the same way. Tell us a little bit about how this works in terms. Look, I unfortunately, I don't know if people want to know this, but we got mice in my house, and I know a lot of people probably do. Is this like a residential product that would work better than, I don't know, whatever the exterminators use out there for?
Well, yes,
residential house.
Yes, and it's a different. We're the only company and the only product that attacks the problem of rodents on the reproduction side. Here's the stat for the day. Just remember this: 2 rats can become 15,000 in 1 year.
Wow!
So with that rapid reproduction, and I don't think the marketplace and the people know that. So we've been really trying to get that fact out there. Is that such rapid reproduction is you can't poison them, you can't gas them, you can't drown them fast enough, because just as you're killing, there's so many more that are being born. So we really attack it on the reproduction side, and really we've come up with the tagline restricts rodent reproduction. And so what that does is really reduces the population so you can control them better. 10 rats are much easier to control than 100, 100 easier to control than 1,000. But 2 can become 15,000 in 1 year. In fact, Rent-A-Kill, the largest pest control company in the world, they said that in 3 years, under good conditions, 2 can become 500,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
And mice in residential, is that the same kind of growth rate?
Yep, same thing. You know, their life cycle is a rat will live roughly a year to maybe a year and a half. During that time, they'll have 6 to 8 litters of pups, and between 6 and 10 per litter. So they start reproducing when they're 2 months old.
Wow.
And that's an amazing thing. So what we did is we developed a product, Evolve, that has an active ingredient, cottonseed oil. So the product is all food additive ingredients. And what the cottonseed oil does, it works on both males and females. In the males, it really starts limiting sperm production, and in the females, starts limiting egg production. So the product is put out in the field in bait stations, which are secure stations that just mice and rats can get into. On our label, it also allows for agricultural uses that you can broadcast the product. And agriculture is a huge marketplace for us, because agriculture is where you really see economic damage that's done. Sugarcane production, rats ravage sugarcane. There's a lot of destruction in the grain management area and poultry production. So there's a lot of economic losses there. And with this product, by limiting the population, you can really reduce the economic losses.
So do you have any data or proof of how well it works? Like if I were to get this product and put it in my home, does that mean I won't have any mice anymore within a certain amount of time?
Well, it works different than poisons do, right? If you put poisons, you're expecting to see death right away. What we are talking about is putting this out. And by the way, the palatability, or how much they like it, is off the charts. It has ingredients in it that they love. And the ingredients in it are things like oat flour, sugar, and oils, palm oil and soybean oil. So it's very attractive to them. And if it's available, they love to eat it. So what you do is you put it out, and after 4 to 6 weeks, you'll start to see a reduction in the size of the litters that are being born. And then our data shows that in our lab study is that after 1 breeding round of consumption, there was a 61% reduction in the amount of pups that are born. And then as they continue feeding on it through subsequent breeding rounds, you'll see a cumulative effect. And really the objective here is that in the course of 6 to 12 months is you'll have a 90+% reduction when used as part of an IPM program. And IPM programs, integrated pest management, are doing things like sanitation and exclusion and maybe using traps and those types of things.
Okay. So let's talk about opportunity for investors going forward, inflections. You know, the reason, as I understand it, that you're here, you want to get the word out. You know, first of all, it's a very small company a lot of people don't know about. We're talking about a $3 million market cap. As I understand it, you have a lot of catalysts you believe are coming this year, and it could be an inflection year for you, 2025. I know the number one thing on people's minds when they hear about this product is, you know, there's 2 reasons why a trader or investor would invest in a small company. It's either because they're looking for that inflection, you know, cumulatively getting to, you know, profitability. When I say cumulative, I mean just like not one big catalyst, but like over time, right? Over time, you're building up your revenue, cutting expense, and it's like, okay, great. This is a good opportunity. This small company is going to get the profitability I want in. Or the other reason they want in is because they think, wow, this company can have one big catalyst that'll just catapult it to success. So I know the first thing on people's minds when they hear about your company and your product is, wow, what if these guys get like an order for the New York City subway? That thing is infested with rats. Everyone's seen them. I don't know if you've been in them, but I live in the New York City metro area.
Yes,
And I've
I
seen
have.
many of them. So, I'm sure that's one of the first things that comes to people's minds with this product. So at a $3 million market cap, is that the inflection, or what are the possible inflections that can, catapult your stock to the next level? Or is it simply a slow and steady thing if you're going to grow revenue little by little and eventually you get to profitability? What's the opportunity here for investors?
Well, I think that there's many opportunities here, and the inflection points, there's many inflection points, because now we have a product that is able to be used throughout distribution and retail and international distribution. So that's the number one thing. With ContraPest, we really couldn't do that. So a year ago, we really didn't have a product that could be used in all those marketplaces. I'll start off with, you mentioned New York City. So we started working with New York City, and when we came out with the Evolve product, and showed them that there was a way that you could have a solid product that could be used out in various areas in the city for effective population control. And they came back to us with some questions. The city council approved what they called their contraceptive plan. And we were able to get an order from New York City in December that we'll be shipping out to them in April. So we've had some great success on that front.
And where in New York City is that going to be used?
Well, they're going to designate a few 10 square block areas, and they're going to deploy it out there, and they're going to use it as kind of a pilot project. Wow. And then as they see success, which we're positive they'll see success, they're going to measure the populations. You can do that via cameras and tracking devices and those types of things. But you can, when they see that, the success, then they're going to expand it to other areas of the city. So we're very excited about that. Kudos to New York City and the city council, because they started looking at alternatives, because ultimately, if the same things that you were using were working, such as poisons, then it would have been under control 50 years ago, because that's how long they've been using poisons. So you gotta control the population side, and then to make the kill side, the death side, the lethal side, whatever you want to call it, getting rid of them, much more effective in itself. So they work together hand in hand. One without the other just is not as effective as if they're working together. So New York City, we recently got an order from Baltimore. So we're starting to see some penetration into the municipal, the city, the governmental markets, which is sure.
So have these been? I didn't realize you had this basically have pilot programs going on in New York City and Baltimore. Have each of these been press released? Something known about?
We press released the Baltimore one, and we haven't done anything with New York City yet until we get to it.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. That's interesting. I might have to pick up some shares on that. So you have a pilot program going on with New York City that has not been PR'd. Wow. What's the potential? First of all, how long do you think the pilot program will take until they come to a conclusion?
Well, it's planned for 1 year. And so, we'll just have to see how it goes within that year and what the results are and how much they want to expand on that. But we're excited about it.
And what are the range of possible outcomes if that is successful after a 1 year pilot in terms of the revenue for you? What does that mean if it goes to the next level within?
Well, it's very substantial. It's a very substantial opportunity, naturally, because if there's one place that you always hear about rats, it's whether it's on Saturday Night Live or it's on NPR, is New York City. And, there were a lot of jokes that were made up about birth control when it came out. They said, what are these, like little condoms, those types of things. But they really examined the product and are put it out there for explaining what the pilot program is. And so they're going to be doing it. So in terms of, I don't want to give you any definitive numbers, but it's very substantial, because as you expand into the city and there's continuous consumption of the product, you're going to have a very substantial implication there that there's going to be a lot of the product that's being used.
And in terms of manufacturing, is that also going to be a substantial task for you guys? Like, how much volume of this do you need, and can you handle manufacturing that?
Well, our manufacturing, we're set up when we initially put our lines in. We do all of our own manufacturing. We don't outsource that or anything. We made sure that we have enough production capacity for some of these big things that could happen. And you know, municipal is not the only one. I mentioned agriculture, and we have some really big pilot projects that are going on in some of the agricultural areas, poultry production, egg production, sugarcane, and other row crop production, as well as grain management.
That makes sense. It makes sense that agriculture should be a big area for you, definitely. But yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued by the New York City subway because I see it. That's what, like, you talk about, like, investors out there on Wall Street, they're looking for opportunity, and what they see. Most people, you know, have never seen a farm or don't really know about that problem. It makes sense that that's a problem. But yeah, I'm super intrigued by this New York City subway thing. If I may dwell on that just a little bit more. So where's your manufacturing facility?
Phoenix, Arizona. So we do all of our manufacturing there, all of our inventory, all of our shipping are out of Phoenix.
Okay, and if you get an order for, like, the whole of New York City or the subways or whatever, is that enough facilities there to manufacture what they need? Would you need to make any capital investments to make that happen?
Well, actually, we're moving into a larger facility in April in Phoenix. Wow. So we're kind of planning.
How are you funding that?
Well, we were able to do a lot of different things with that in order to be able to move into the new facility that's in Surprise, Arizona, which is right outside of Phoenix.
Is this information right? I'm looking at my Webull platform. $2.86 million market cap. What is the outstanding shares? It shows here. 1 million outstanding shares. Is that correct?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Are there any, like, warrants out there or anything?
There are some warrants that are out there.
What if they're all exercised or whatever? What would the fully diluted outstanding shares be?
If that would be 2 million shares. We got about a million warrants that are out there.
And so it'll be 1 for 1, like each warrant gives you 1 common share. So it'd be like, if they're all converted, it'd be 2 million outstanding shares.
Yes.
Wow. And do you know the strike price on those, the conversion price on those warrants?
They're at $4.15, I believe.
Okay, cool. Wow, this is fascinating. I did not expect this. I got to be honest with you. All right, that's pretty cool. Now, I hear there's also some other opportunities you touched on a little bit with retail in terms of getting into big box retail or the e-commerce side to directly, sell to retail. What are you more excited about this year? Right, the opportunity to sell this direct to retail via big box retailers and e-commerce sites, or some of these bigger possible deals that may come, I guess, a year from now if these pilot programs are done in agriculture, Baltimore, New York City. What is the thing that you're more excited about, and maybe give us a little more detail on the retail side that you're working on?
Well, certainly retail is exciting. We started out in June of last year. We were able to get onto Amazon. And so you can buy our products on Amazon, Evolve Mouse, SenesTech, go there. We were able to get onto Walmart.com 60 days ago, roughly.
Oh, really?
Yes. So on Walmart.com. And just last week, we were on TractorSupply.com, which is key for us in that ag sector. So we have all of those places now that you can go online and buy those. And there'll be more coming along as we're pursuing other avenues there. But we think that the .com and the e-commerce stores, and we also have our own e-commerce at SenesTech.com. So there's multiple ways that you can buy the product online, and we can see a lot of repeat customers there. We think that will then lead into being able to get into the brick and mortar portion of that with Tractor Supply and Walmart. Wow. And that's very exciting for us because we've been able to do some presentations, some line reviews. So, with the brick and mortar, they're really planning now for next year, although they do things like, okay, we'll put it into, a certain area to start off. But so we think long-term that the retail part of that is going to be a big channel for us. But along with that, this is now a global product. We have 10 exclusive distributors that are around the globe, places like Hong Kong and Singapore and the Netherlands. And we're starting to get orders there. And we're in discussions with about another 20 different international distributors, because when we take a look at what this does and how it does it and the impact it can have, we're getting a lot of interest. We just signed up a distributor in India, for example. Huge rat problem there. So we're starting to
Does that one be PR'd? The India distributor?
I think it came out this morning.
Oh, there was a PR this morning. Did I miss it?
Or if it didn't hit this morning, it's coming out tomorrow. But we did sign up a distributor in India, and
okay. You're full of surprises here. Let me just check my news feed. I don't see it. Okay. All right. Cool.
So anyway, along those lines, we think the global market for outside of the U.S. is about $4.2 billion for rodenticides, things that are used to try to limit rodent damage.
Are there competitors that do the same thing as you, like fertility control?
No, we're the only ones that are out there with this product. Yes.
Okay. This interview's turning out.
And the marketplace for rodenticides in the U.S. is about $1 billion. So that's divided into pest management, and that's where the product is based, and where it's really used the most right now is in the pest management industry. So big pest control companies are starting to put this in as part of their services that they offer. And of course, they do things like municipal contracts as well as private contracts. So they're really touching on a huge marketplace here.
So Joel, let me go back and finish the thought I had earlier. In terms of an inflection point for the company, now that we have a better understanding of all the opportunities, is it this growth into retail that you're more excited about? I'm talking about like within the next 4 quarters, right? Within the year 2025, right? Do you really see that inflection coming from the retail side? Do you see it coming from Baltimore, New York City, converting to a full program, after their pilot's finished? Or do you see it from just a slow incremental cumulative thing from slowly kind of getting to profitability from here and there? Like what are you most excited about? What's going to be your inflection here in the year 2025?
Well, really excited about the opportunities that we have in pest management and agriculture, because we've had the product out there now for about a year, and being a regulated product, which means you have to get state approvals for it. You have to get the EPA approval, or in our case, being a minimum risk product, the EPA designation that you're minimum risk. But it takes time because they all want to try the product out, do their own evaluation, and use it. And we're starting to see where we're getting past that point in pest management as well as in the agriculture business. And along those lines, we have some great distributors that are set up now. As I mentioned before, we really couldn't do any type of distribution before with our ContraPest product, but now we have the top 4 pest management distributors in the United States that are handling our product. We also have 4 really good agriculture distributors that focus on poultry houses and egg production houses, as well as grain management areas. So really excited about that, because I think we're going to see that accelerate this year. Also really excited about our international opportunities, because we did a lot of legwork in 2024, getting the distributor set up, getting the product approved in those countries, and which is a lengthy process in itself. So there's a huge marketplace that we now have distributors focusing on. And then I think the longer term with retail, it's a great retail opportunity for us, It's just going to take a little bit of time to get into the line reviews and those types of things for the future. But definitely all of those areas, as well as I think we're going to continue to really grow our e-commerce business, being on all of the major e-tailers.
Okay, great. That sounds good. You know, I forgot to make a disclosure here. I did tell our Discord earlier that SenesTech is a paid sponsor of Story Trading and what we're doing with our Discord and our community for the month of February. Just to make sure that get that disclosure out there. And I do own shares myself. I bought a little bit before the interview in case you said something great, and while you were talking, I bought more. So just want to be fully transparent with our relationship here. Let me just close it out with this. If you could speak to, you know, you got a 3 million market cap here. What are your personal, maybe how much, by the way, what's your vest? Do you have like shares in the company?
I have options as compensation.
Okay, you have options. So what is your personal goal for the company in terms, like, how much do you think this company should be worth? What kind of valuation do you want to get it to? You know, are you looking to kind of get to a certain level and sell it, or are you just trying to, you know, get the company to profitability? Like, what's your goal? How big do you think SenesTech can get, and kind of what time frame do you think is reasonable to reach that goal?
Well, I think the first goal naturally is getting to break even and then become cash flow positive. And we think that with the track that we're on right now is that we can get there sometime in early 26 is the way that it looks right now. And then once we get there, we should see some acceleration, because that means the product has been adopted, and then used on a continuing basis. So we're planning on repeat customers. That's the lifeblood of what we do naturally with a product like this. And then we're going to continue with our product development teams and see what other products that we can put into our line of products. Because ultimately, when I came in, it was like we were a one product company. You know, now we have multiple products. We have more options for our customers, different types of dispensing systems, those types of things. And when we get to the point where we have a product portfolio that's expanding and the products being used out in the field, that's when you're going to see the real growth acceleration.
Okay, great. Joel, it was nice meeting you. But this is the first time I talked to you, by the way. So very unscripted interview here. You did great. I was very impressed. It looks like we got a lot of catalysts coming up. Some catalysts people don't necessarily know about: New York City subway pilot program, international distribution agreement with India. That sounds very exciting. Also, we're going to be doing a panel discussion next Monday at 1 p.m. on X Spaces with Wolf Financial. So tune into that. That's the show that we have every week, Monday at 1 p.m. on Wolf, that I co-host with the small cap panel, where we talk about small cap stocks. So tune in for that next Monday, 1 p.m. on X Spaces. Joel, we'll be watching your progress. It looks like a very exciting opportunity. Good luck, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it.
Yep. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.